President Joe Biden's unexpected decision to drop out of the 2024 presidential race has sent shockwaves through the political landscape, potentially clearing the path for Donald Trump's return to the White House. This dramatic turn of events could have far-reaching consequences not only for the United States but for the global geopolitical order. A second Trump presidency is likely to usher in a new era of protectionism, destabilize Europe, embolden adversaries like Russia and China, and elevate the relevance of the BRICS bloc at the expense of American influence. With Biden's withdrawal, the Democratic Party finds itself in disarray just months before the election. While Vice President Kamala Harris emerges as an instant favorite for the nomination, the party faces an uphill battle to unite behind a new candidate and convince voters of their ability to lead the nation. This sudden shift gives Trump a significant advantage, as he has been actively campaigning and maintains a strong base of support. Trump's America First policies, which resonated with a substantial portion of the electorate in 2016 and 2020, are likely to gain renewed traction in the wake of Biden's exit. The former president's promises to prioritize domestic interests over international commitments could appeal to voters concerned about economic security and America's role on the global stage. A hallmark of Trump's first term was his aggressive stance on trade, earning him the self-proclaimed title of "Tariff Man." A second Trump administration is expected to double down on protectionist policies, potentially implementing even more severe measures than before. One of the most alarming proposals is the consideration of a blanket 10% tariff on all incoming products. Such a move would significantly increase the average American tariff rate, impacting consumers and producers alike. This aggressive approach to trade could reignite trade wars with major economic partners, disrupting global supply chains and potentially slowing economic growth. The implications of these protectionist policies extend beyond immediate economic impacts. They risk further straining relationships with key allies, particularly in Europe and Asia, who may view such measures as hostile acts rather than legitimate economic policy. Trump's potential return to office poses a significant threat to the stability of Europe and the transatlantic alliance. His skepticism towards NATO and the European Union, coupled with his "America First" ideology, could fundamentally alter the security landscape of the continent. During his first term, Trump frequently criticized NATO members for not meeting defense spending targets and even flirted with the idea of withdrawing the United States from the alliance. In a second term, he may follow through on these threats, potentially leaving European nations vulnerable to external pressures, particularly from Russia. The withdrawal of American leadership and security guarantees could force European countries to rapidly increase their defense capabilities. While this might lead to a more self-reliant Europe in the long term, the immediate aftermath could be a period of uncertainty and vulnerability. This power vacuum could be exploited by adversaries seeking to expand their influence in the region. A Trump presidency could inadvertently embolden leaders like Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping to pursue more aggressive foreign policies, including potential territorial grabs. In the case of Russia, Trump's stated intention to end the endless flow of American treasure to Ukraine, and his promise to end the war in 24 hours raise serious concerns. Such a stance could effectively green-light further Russian aggression, not only in Ukraine but potentially in other former Soviet states. The withdrawal of American support could leave Ukraine vulnerable and might encourage Russia to test the resolve of NATO, particularly if Trump follows through on his threats to re-evaluate the alliance's purpose and mission. For China, Trump's ambiguous stance on defending Taiwan could be interpreted as tacit permission to pursue reunification by force. While Trump has promised an aggressive trade relationship with China, his refusal to commit to Taiwan's defense sends mixed signals that Beijing might exploit. This uncertainty could destabilize the delicate balance in the Taiwan Strait and potentially lead to a major conflict in the Indo-Pacific region. As the United States potentially retreats from its global leadership role under a second Trump presidency, the BRICS bloc, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, could see its influence and relevance increase significantly. The BRICS nations, which already account for 40% of the world's population and a quarter of global GDP, have been positioning themselves as an alternative to Western-dominated international institutions. Trump's protectionist policies and skepticism towards multilateral organizations could accelerate this trend, pushing more countries to align with the BRICS bloc. China, in particular, has been actively promoting a vision of a multipolar world order through initiatives like the Global Security Initiative. A US retreat from global leadership would create opportunities for China to fill the void, potentially reshaping international norms and institutions in its favor. Russia, facing isolation from the West due to its actions in Ukraine, would likely welcome the increased prominence of BRICS as a means to circumvent sanctions and maintain its global influence. The bloc could serve as an economic lifeline for Moscow, undermining Western efforts to pressure Russia through economic means. The economic ramifications of these geopolitical shifts could be profound. Trump's protectionist policies, combined with the rise of alternative economic blocs like BRICS, could lead to a fragmentation of the global economy. Trade wars and tariffs could disrupt global supply chains, potentially leading to higher prices for consumers and reduced competitiveness for American businesses. The uncertainty created by rapidly changing trade policies could also dampen investment and economic growth. Moreover, the increasing relevance of BRICS could accelerate the de-dollarization trend, with more countries seeking alternatives to the US dollar for international trade and reserves. This could gradually erode the dollar's status as the world's primary reserve currency, potentially reducing America's economic leverage on the global stage. A second Trump presidency, characterized by skepticism towards multilateral institutions and alliances, could further weaken the liberal international order that has underpinned global stability since World War II. The potential withdrawal from or weakening of organizations like NATO, the World Trade Organization, and various UN bodies could create a power vacuum in global governance. This void might be filled by alternative institutions championed by countries like China and Russia, potentially leading to a world order less aligned with democratic values and free market principles. The erosion of American soft power and moral leadership on issues like human rights and democracy promotion could embolden authoritarian regimes worldwide. Countries that have looked to the United States as a model of democratic governance might increasingly turn to alternative systems, potentially reversing decades of democratic progress. Joe Biden's withdrawal from the 2024 presidential race has opened the door to a potential second Trump presidency, which could herald significant changes in the global order. From increased protectionism and the destabilization of Europe to the emboldening of adversaries and the rise of alternative power blocs like BRICS, the implications of such a shift are far-reaching and complex. While the future remains uncertain, it is clear that a return to Trump's America First policies would have profound consequences for international relations, global trade, and the balance of power worldwide. As the United States potentially steps back from its traditional leadership role, other powers are poised to fill the vacuum, potentially reshaping the world in ways that could challenge long-standing assumptions about global order and stability. As the 2024 election approaches, voters and policymakers alike must grapple with these potential outcomes and their implications for America's place in the world. The choices made in the coming months could set the course for global affairs for years to come, making this election one of the most consequential in recent history. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue creating content on important global issues. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. Join the conversation in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on how these potential geopolitical shifts could impact the world. Together, we can stay informed and engaged in shaping our collective future.